If you're thinking about buying rental properties for that financial freedom and start building your portfolio, here are the 5 things I wish I knew before I started investing in real estate. When we're thinking about building that portfolio and start having that real estate to pay us on a monthly basis, it seems very passive. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of work and we have a lot more control over our schedule. But in reality, it's that the past 15 years, there are several moments where I wanted to give up. But in this video, I'm going to unfold everything, all the ugly truth about real estate investing so that you can be aware of what you're about to get yourself into. But here's the thing, stick until the end, because once you have the right expectation and understand what those challenges are, you can literally avoid it and become a successful real estate investor. So lesson number 1, you gotta have your end game really figured out. You gotta understand your number. What is the number that you're trying to do to replace your day-to-day expenses? That number has to be super clear for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that with that goal in mind, it will literally help you to get to all the different challenges. And number 2 is that having that number in mind will literally change or realign the way that you're approaching this real estate goal. And let me give you a couple different examples. If the goal here is just to reach that 10K per month, using real estate as a vehicle to replace my full-time job, and I know I have a lot of time and energy to run it as an active business, then maybe first thing that I look at is not going to be a rental property. I might be getting very good at sourcing the deal and try to look at it and see how I can do the value added approach. I either try to wholesale, hotel, or maybe even just flip the property. Or in some cases, I might be looking to the Airbnb strategy. And all these are really critical for you to kind of explore, because the moment that you have 10K per month and you're using the active approach, it opens up so many different options for you to not have to be buying a massive portfolio, raising a lot of capital to reach that 10K per month. Running as a business, you can generate so much more money this way. And on the flip side, if you're the type of person who already owns a business and you're running it efficiently and you're just diversifying some of the money into an asset class that will preserve the wealth long term, then building it into 20 units, then acquiring a property or a portfolio now becomes a way more sense for you as a business owner to operate. And for me, back in 2015, I just made a commitment that I wanted to exit my full-time engineering job. And that was my main motivation, and I just needed to start drawing some active income. And that's why I started with the flipping to get more capital in, and I started with the property management as a service provider to generate recurring income. I didn't really start with building that rental portfolio because I knew what problems I'm trying to solve for. And you should do the exact same thing. Too many people coming here, I just want to invest in real estate, I want to make some money. And that's it. There's not a lot of clarity on what they're trying to do. A lot of people, when it comes to real estate investing, they just say, oh, I want to reach financial freedom. I want to buy some properties and, not have to work. That's not really a good reason, and it's never going to give you the clarity on where you need to be. Figure out where you're heading towards and then try to take the action that makes sense to that goal. Then the outcome will get reached pretty quickly. Lesson number 2 is that this is an active business, so that passive income type of things out of the window. Remember, over 53% of people who try to start with real estate investor end up losing that momentum. It's not really going to get passive until you get to the point where you can start hiring out people. It's not going to be your first property, it's not going to be a second property. You probably need to get to 10 units before you can start delegating the daily tasks to other people. So real estate investing is not passive in the very beginning. You're going to be the operator until you have the resource to replace yourself from this entire operation. And it really helps with your expectation, your mental states, but more importantly, it started allowing you to mix a different type of strategy that will 10x the business as well. Like I mentioned, when I first started investing in real estate, it was with family funds from 2010 all the way to 2015. But the moment that I realized that this is going to be an active business that's going to replace my engineering income, I started flipping, I started doing more wholesaling, I started connecting with way more investors, way more lenders, and it really opened up so many different doors. And this is also what got me the idea to start incorporating property management business for the recurring income. And only because I started taking this approach, I built a massive list, client list, landlord list, that allow me to raise capital to buy my very first sixplex. Running an active business allowed me to solve deal issue and the money issue, which allow me to continue to expand my real estate portfolio. So if you're thinking about this is going to be super passive, honestly, it might be better for you to invest in stock and not real estate. Gonna have the right expectation, but this is also how you build a cash flow machine for yourself to replace your income. Lesson number 3, you will lose money at some point. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but all the investors go through some sort of stuff that actually costs them a very expensive lesson. And you gotta have that expectation too. You're not going to be 100% perfect. This is an active business that involves a lot of people. A wrong hire for the contractor can cost you money. Pulling the trigger in the wrong location can cost you a lot of money. Finding the wrong contractors, tenants, paralegals, and all that stuff can all cost you money. So you gotta understand that you will lose money at some point. For me, I get the privilege to see everything in the property management business that I was operating, because landlords don't usually reach out to us unless they have a problem, and I see some of the challenges that the landlords have to go through. And honestly though, sometimes it's very stressful. And here's what I learned, in a couple of things that you definitely need to know. Number one is that if you're dealing with rental properties, there's always some sort of risk. Don't over leverage yourself, and always try to look for something that's not one unit. Find a student rental, find a duplex, triplex, fourplex, find the multifamily buildings where the income sources is diversified, because it builds the cash flow and it de-risk from one specific tenants. And this is why I never looked into investing in condo pre-construction. Maybe it sounds familiar to you, but I never actually considered investing there, because I know there's only one unit, there's not much flexibility, and when I need to sell, there's too many products that are literally identical. So I won't be able to create a marketing strategy that allow me to sell. Now, some people make some money, but at the same time, you gotta accept that if you keep using the same strategy, when the market shifted to different direction, the condo market is gonna get hit very, very hard. So a couple of things that I learned from here is that it kind of goes back to number one. You gotta have that clarity, your goal, to drive that investment decision all the time. Cash flow is really important. De-risk your portfolio. And if you ever get into a position where there might have some fear of missing out when the market is moving, and this is where you take a step back and readjust your expectation. The goal here is very simple. As you're scaling, you're going to get better and better at managing risk for each project. Lesson number 4, the wrong strategy in your current financial position will literally create an offset for you. When I first started, I used student rental as my baby strategy, and reason is very simple. I got 6 tenants to 8 tenants paying me rent. This gave me a sense of comfort. There's enough cash flow, and I know if I have a tenancy turnover for one unit, I'm not going to be too worried about it. So student rental, co-living, or maybe Airbnb if you already own a home, right? Rent out part of your house in Airbnb style, generate some cash flow. Those type of strategy will be a very easy way for you to get started. And if you're a first-time home buyer, I highly recommend you start looking into house hacking. Do the house hacking sacrifice right now. This will allow you to learn real estate investing a lot better. Don't buy your primary residence, because typically this is how younger people get very excited with a new paycheck, the mortgage qualification. They basically buy something that's a liability. They bleed money every single month, and this direction really offset their financial planning for the next 5 to 10 years. So if you're just starting out, I would totally avoid any single family purchase, primary residence, condo purchase. All this will stop your capital flow completely. What I like to do is to find a strategy that allows me to recycle my capital, have that income coming in every single month. And this is why I picked student rental. Eventually I got into wholesaling, learn how to source the off-market deals, and eventually I get into the flipping so that I know that I can get some money back. And then I got into multifamily with a bit of value add strategy, and this allows me to push the building evaluation much higher, and then I can recycle the capital through refinancing again. So that's why sometimes we see 2 different people, so same capital, same person, same market will yield very different results if you choose the wrong strategy. And this is why we help a lot of our exclusive members to strategize during the onboarding process and make sure they have the proper strategy to grow the equity up to $1 million before they even invest in the first property. Everybody's situation is different, strategy will be different, but the moment that there's a clarity, execution becomes much easier. And again, throwing the stats here, 68% of real estate investors admitted that they chose the wrong strategy to start with. Lesson number 5 is that the perfect timing to invest in real estate is 5 years ago. The second best time is now. Timing the market is definitely impossible, but there's always an angle for you to cut into real estate investing game. When the market is decent, you can do a lot of things. You can flip, you can burn, and when the market is fluctuating, you can do wholesale, hotel, or become a service provider for other investors and landlords, and this is how you can quickly build out that capital and buy your next multifamily building at a discount rate. So there's so many different ways that you can make money in different real estate cycles. You just need to have the courage to say that now is the time, I'm willing to commit, and I'm going to learn from the people who are still active in today's market. Trust me, in any market condition, someone's making money. You just gotta find that person. And the last thing I want to mention is that always start with a more affordable market, and the reason is simple: you sleep better at night. And now if you enjoyed this video and you want to know more about how to source an off-market deal, make sure you watch this one.